Hi, this is an Erlang Shen game, Erlang Shen Jungle in Ranked Conquest. Unfortunately what happened here is that OBS did not record any audio at all, neither game audio nor my actual in-game commentary, so instead I'm recording over it to explain to everybody what was actually going on during the game. This is just me turning on voice chat. Communication is very important, especially in Ranked. Be positive, make good call-outs, don't use it as an excuse to shout at your teammates. The enemy team bans out Freya, Bakasura and Ratatoskr. Ratatoskr I don't think is probably worth the ban here. Freya and Bakasura absolutely are. On our side, we banned out Arachne, Nemesis and Cthulhu. Instead of the Nemesis and the Rat bans on either side, I probably would have prioritized the Ularon to get rid of, and then possibly also an Aphrodite, if not a Persephone. The Nemesis ban is fine instead of the Persephone, but definitely would have had the Ularon banned. As it is, the Ularon made it through to second phase without being picked, and so it gets banned out. We see on the enemy team they pick up a Serket, a King Arthur and Anubis. The Serket is going to be jungle every single time. The King Arthur is going to be solo every single time. The Anubis could be the support. I've seen people try and play it. It's not gone well for them in the past. So I'm assuming this Anubis is going to be mid lane. On our side we pick up a Kernanos, obviously myself as Erlang Shen in jungle. A Fafnir who turns out is solo. And a Geb support. The Fafnir solo I had absolutely no idea about. Didn't know how that would match up going into King Arthur. He does have a stun on his 1, which allows him to interrupt a number of King Arthur's abilities, which is, you know, nice. Or the number 3 dashes that King Arthur has. He also has a disarm, which does very little against their comp. We just see them pick up the rest of their dual lane here, which is a Cupid and a Ganesh. So it's looking like Fafnir is going to be a very specific solo laner. I imagine maybe the guy has experience playing the solo laner. But as we see throughout the rest of the match, he actually performs quite well on it. But initially in the picks, I was skeptical, for sure. Definitely wasn't excited to see it. As we look at the final team comps, we pick up a Thoth or a Toth mid. We've banned out the Izanami and the Yamoja, so they pick up a Ganesh in their support and a Cupid as their hunter. They ban out the Persephone Ularon. Strong picks, worth banning. I don't think Persephone is a top ban in lower ranks. The more you move up through the MMR scales, as soon as you start heading top gold into plat, definitely ban her out. People will have practice her, people will be able to play her, and you will have a miserable experience as a mid laner. Overall, our team is a good mix. We've got early clear and pressure with Erlang and Kernanos. We've got good late game artillery damage with Thoth. We've got a great late game support in Geb and a great late game frontline in Fafnir. Solo lane's early clear versus a King Arthur is going to be, awful, basically. But the Geb should be able to keep his Cernos safe, and Cernos' own clear and pressure, especially with his AoE auto attacks, should lead duo lane to being ahead early. I pick up a very standard start for Erlang here, Assassin's Blessing, and I'm going to do tier 1 Crusher. That mace will be built into Crusher later in the game. A health pot and a hog. The Hand of the Gods is going to be used to clear the back camps, and the Blink is there for aggression in the early game. As Erlang Shen, you have 2 CC abilities at level 2. You have your Root and your Knock Up, which is not an entirely unique factor, but certainly is very, very strong. And is one of the reasons that Erlang Shen is good in jungle. Everyone's doing a very standard start here, and there's nothing too much to talk about. As Erlang, you start attacking in the air at 18 seconds, so as the blue buff spawns at 20, it allows you to get your big AoE auto off first and accelerates your clear. Use the 2, Thoth clears it as well, and we end up running out with speed. I don't auto-attack the shrine on my way past, because I don't feel that there's any need. Next time I come back to the shrine, it'll be fully stacked, and that'll be more efficient. Hog the back camps, don't use an ability, head straight over to blue. We see that Fafnir is having a bit of a slap fight with King Arthur in the wave. Again, I was very worried at this point in the game that the Fafnir would feed his lane and everything would go horribly, but he turns out to know exactly what he's doing. Possibly the King Arthur doesn't play very well. As I come in over here, I go into voice chat. You'll see at the top left, I ping and I ask the Thoth, can I kill him if we blink in? The Thoth doesn't reply, but with the poke he puts in, I decide that we're going to go in for it anyway. blink in, hit the root. He immediately Aegises on Anubis, so I hold the rest of my damage until the Aegis finishes, and then knock him up with a 3, and Thoth and I both secure the kill. That's first blood to our team. We did see their jungler as we walked in on that side, and the jungler should have come in and tried to interrupt us as we were, but Soket does not have a super strong level 2 compared to Erlang. But if he had gone in, if the Soket had gone in and aggressed onto the Thoth, there was a possibility for them to turn it. However, Anubis' abilities were down, so we had a good fight there. Here I call gank on the second lane, on our duo lane. Again, they say wait, they let them push up a little bit, we then go in afterwards. Cupid pops Aegis immediately. Things start to go a little bit wrong after Cupid pops Aegis. They start putting good damage into me, but luckily the rest of my duo lane is here to follow up. We decide to keep chasing, see if we can kill this Ganesh. I hit a root and then he dashes away. We could have killed him there maybe. Soket comes in, Geb has fantastic reactions, shields me, shells me, I pop my 3 to get the health and the knock up on the Soket and get out. So Soket has fallen behind in this early game already. We're only 2 minutes in. I've already ganked and killed 2 people, the mid lane and the duo lane. She was there for both of those. She had the ability to interfere in both of those. Possibly her clear is much slower than mine, which I know it is. And that probably contributes as to why she wasn't able to come over. She probably went and did their red after Anubis died, so it would be up for him when he comes back, but that meant that she wasn't able to get over to me in time because we had 2 people clearing our red, and she was the only one to clear hers, so I was able to make it over the duo lane in time for the gank. Plus they were pushed up and she had to walk further through the jungle to get there. It was a bit late of her to get there anyway, but you know what she did. We back it up, we pick up our tier 2 boots, and straight back out. Clear speed, clear backs, clear blue. See, this is around a 3-minute marker. It's not a super late blue clear, but if I was focused entirely on farm, I would have gotten to it as it was up. I ping it here, just let the Fafnir know that his blue is on the ground so he doesn't miss it, and we walk back through. As we come into mid lane, I'm looking to see if I can spot anybody out. Is the Soket out of position? Is the Anubis out of position? We know that Anubis is behind already, so we might be able to kill him repeatedly. And there we see the first kill in the solo lane going to the Fafnir. It's very impressive that he does that. Fafnir has very long ability cooldowns, only effectively has 2 damaging abilities to actually hit the King Arthur with. They do a lot of damage, though. It looks like on the minimap he missed his blue, unfortunately, but he did secure the kill for it, so I think we can call that worth. If I was on point, I would have rotated over and gone to steal his blue as soon as he kills the King Arthur, but my thought at the time was that maybe Soket is farming heavily because we haven't seen her anywhere on the map, so possibly she just got her buff timers down and is just rotating as fast as she possibly can to get all the clear and try and keep up with me in farm. As we'll see throughout the rest of the game, it doesn't really work. But yeah, we haven't seen the Soket in ages. There she is now in mid. She just came from their blue buff, their red buff, sorry, which I had warded. And she tries to aggress onto Thoth, but I'm here just in case anything happens. Thoth tries to dash in, tries to do something to her. I turn up as well, but we can't really do much. I considered turtling in here, but Thoth is low mana and low health, and if it turns, we've got wards, but if she turns on us and Anubis turns up, we could be in serious trouble. We see she goes back there, over there on her red buff as well. That's a good ward on red. Even though it doesn't show you out the rotations, it does show you where they are and what's going on. There's a return kill in the solo lane. I think Fafnir never backed after he missed his blue buff, just maximising his farm, but as a result King Arthur came back with items and did manage to kill him. But I wasn't paying attention to the solo lane at that point because I knew Fafnir had already gotten a kill, so I assumed he was going to be ahead very nicely. But with that return kill, I know that I now have to look after the solo lane a little bit more, so I'm going to need to gank it once, maybe twice, for the rest of this game. Getting my respawn timers online, right as I do my speed and prepare to back. Blue types in chat saying blue after speed, so I just go straight to it. I'm low mana, so we can't do anything else on this, but all I can do is secure his blue. I can't actually threaten the lane at all or apply any pressure, but I can help Fafnir's clear because with only 2 abilities up and very little in the form of actual kills, Fafnir does need help on his blue. Meanwhile, the Thoth picks up the Anubis mid. I didn't have a clue that was happening. Absolutely no idea. The Thoth has played well to outplay his Anubis, but his Anubis, remember, did get first blooded, so he is down. It's not a, it wasn't an even fight. And again, Soket, there's no sign of her. She's not applying any pressure. She's not applying any ganks. We go back to base and pick up our attack speed boots. Attack speed boots on Erlang almost always. I like Talaria in very specific situations. If you're playing him support, I definitely like Talaria. But with this, we're now solidly ahead in the mid lane with a solo kill from the Thoth, and Soket just isn't applying pressure anywhere on the map. She's not ganking, she's not even scaring anybody, she's not invading our buffs. She has that mobility similar to backer mobility that allows her to do those sorts of things. And here's a aggression happening. Geb is going to die, but we can clean this up. So I blink after the Cupid before I get put in combat by the minions. I get a taunt onto both of them, which is perfect, and then straight into a knock-up, so we're able to clean up both kills there. We were absolutely happy to take that engagement because we saw Ganesh's ult come out and we saw Cupid's ult go out, so there was absolutely no chance of them turning and burning us really hard. They invested a lot into the Geb. Killing Geb in exchange for killing both of their dual lane is absolutely worth every single time. I walk up here and considered picking up their purple. It's down, no mind then. I'm not going to run over to their red because I just saw Anubis and Soket over in the mid lane somewhere, but I'm just going to ward it up. There they are. If I'd gone for that red off to invade off the kills, I would have died for it. Would have hit them both and absolutely got murdered because they just picked up Thoth in mid lane while we were doing that. So that's Soket's first real piece of pressure actually applied. Before that, the only other thing she'd done is turn up. Unfortunately, in this little engagement, this little thing on the minions right there, I mistimed my 2, and so Geb's shockwave actually clears it all, and he's probably stacking Thebes. I haven't checked in a little while, but I'm assuming he is stacking Thebes, so he probably wanted the assists on that. I definitely didn't want to get the assist on that because he's got the Guardian's Blessing, so an assist on those are more valuable for him than an assist are for me. Tiny little farm error, but you know, it shouldn't matter in the long run. Fafnir is getting poked out heavily by this King Arthur. Again, I'm not pressing tab here. These are mistakes that I am making. I should be pressing tab as I'm walking between these buffs and checking everybody's builds. If I'd seen what King Arthur had, I might have been more or less inclined to go on him. If all he had was magic defense, I could have turned up and done something. If he's got Soul Eater online, I'm not going anywhere near him at the moment. But yeah, these are little things that I should be considering as we go. That's Soket making herself known again. She turns up mid to kill the Thoth again. Thoth is a little bit confident in his ability to 1v1 the Anubis. So we just see Anubis lifesteal up there in mid for a tons amount. So he's a little bit unhappy with this. It turns out later that the Thoth is French and is a level 40 account. I believe he probably was a Smurf because he did play very well overall and should not have died as much as he did. But again, the Soket is now, 8 minutes into the game, starting to apply the pressure through the jungle role, but they're already behind. They're not behind a huge amount. As we can see, the gold difference is just under 2,000, which at 8 minutes isn't a huge and unsurmountable lead. But personally, I'm 3-0. I'm feeling incredibly confident that we can win this game. I've just taken oracles. We know that they just killed, Geb just double killed their lane. So I make the call here to go for gold. We just saw while I was clearing those that Geb double killed the lane. I mean, they both double killed the lane. Geb just got the last hits. So we make the call for gold. We've got really big wards out. We've got wards on their red. We've got wards on their purple. We've got wards in the interim. And Thoth is in lane, so there's nobody coming from mid. And we just get it. We just get it absolutely for free. If they had been aware of that and they had come to contest that, which their mid lane and their jungler should have known, as we just killed duo, we should have known that was an option. Even though we did do it late, we still got it for free. I think Anubis probably backed in the meantime. We didn't have the comms to know where Anubis was, but I was saying in comms, if they turn up, we either look to fight them or we drop it, but we don't just commit to gold because their Anubis ult will outsecure us every single time. I see at the top right now, because I missed it when it actually happened, that Soket is disconnected. So we're now automatically in the winning seat. She does come back later in the match, but I'm now thinking I can come and invade this blue because Soket is not here. And right as I jump, bam, game pause. They've also noticed the Soket is missing, and they're going to pause it. What I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to invade her blue, the King Arthur's blue, the opponent's blue, because I know that our blue has just come up, because our blue timer is on a similar timer to my speed, and I see at the bottom that it has just come up. So I'm assuming that if their blue has been gotten regularly by the Soket, which it should have been, it should be up right now and available for me to steal. The game unpauses without Soket being able to return, but we do find out that the blue is already down. Fafnir isn't in comms for this, but he does type gank. So I think about waiting around. I'm not showing myself on the map, but then I walk a bit too far forward and he definitely sees me out of the jungle. And that all goes a little bit haywire, so I just say cancel that and I'm going to leave. We're not going to try and kill the Arthur. He's still full HP. He's sitting on the tower. Yeah, cancel that and I'm just going to go back to blue. Meanwhile, support rotates mid and just trades himself for the Thoth. Geb is there and isn't able to save the Thoth, but we are able to pick up the kill, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. Not the most value support for mid laner, not super happy about it in general, but it's better than just dying. I'm just on my buff farm at this point. My next thought is to do Pyro whenever we get an opportunity to. So if we can get Anubis out of the way, either force him to back or kill him, we can go and do Pyro. There is the Circuit coming back in. So the match is back to even, which is nice. It's never fun to win or lose because of an actual internet error. You shouldn't be playing ranked if you're prone to this, but I understand, and it's happened to me many a time, that everything's fine, and then as soon as you get into a ranked game, everything goes to shit. Sometimes it's stuff like that you can't control. The wards we're putting down are erroneous. We want to be warding on the other side of the map because Gold Fury is down, but the Thoth makes a call that this is an absolutely dead Anubis here, and I absolutely agree, so we decided to engage on him massively. We saw him use his abilities beforehand. I'm going to root him, I've got my damage mitigation off of that, and we just turn around and melt him because I get my heal off. We think about getting the Ganesh. I decide not to keep going because he's under his T2 and we see Circuit behind us in wave. I make the call to pressure out the Circuit after we steal this red. Yeah, there she is. She just went and had a look at our red. It's down already. We've been on the top of that. I know she's Circuit, right? She's got tons of mobility. All I'm going to do is just mess with her a little bit, but we're not actually going to be able to kill her. Oh, wait, that knockup's really good. There we go. Bam. The little bit of pressure and poke, didn't want to commit anything, didn't commit my dash, just put some damage into her, and then she just melts because Geb has a good idea of when to hit the knockup. I imagine her 3 was probably down, or one of her million mobility things were down, and she didn't try and ult us or anything, so I'm not sure what her plan was there. She should have recognised that she was in a bunch of trouble and need to blow her entire kit to get out. I'm calling for Pyro. Thoth's calling for gold. He doesn't somehow realise that we did gold earlier and that it's off the map. So Pyro is obviously a no-go because everyone's on the other side of the map. They're going to go gank Cupid at this tower. I'm going to come try and help gank this King Arthur. This is what I said I would do earlier in the video because they traded kills early, so no one's actually winning. I try and knock up through his stuff. This engagement becomes really fucking awkward because I don't have my ult up yet. I walk in, I tank the tower a bit, I've got no abilities up, he dashes back and forth through me, so I try and get a root here. I should have walked through him for the root, but I didn't, and Fafnir dies as a result. After I hit the root, I should have kept going. I prepare to ult myself for damage mitigation and a heal there, but it turns out I don't need it because I've still got the turtle health shield. I go all the way back here because I don't know who's coming. I imagine the Circuit and the Anubis are coming, and voila, look, that's an Anubis coming over to try and clean up these kills. I have left. Fafnir says something, you should let me in. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah, I definitely botched that fight a little bit. And we should have killed him before he got back to the tower, and if so, we should have dove him immediately. And everything went a little bit off during that one, mainly because I didn't have my ult up. Had I had my ult up, he was a secured kill, but I thought maybe we could play well enough to kill him without the ult. So Ket engaged on the Thoth here, uses everything she can. Geb comes out and heals him, shields him, saves him entirely. The chat is filled with thanks for great Geb play. And Circuit decides not to keep chasing despite being Circuit and being able to do so. Maybe she's still scared of the Thoth. We see a Ganesh walking in a little bit low. I'm prepared to blink and commit to him, but we see the Anubis is here as well. But still, there's a level difference. This support is 5 levels down on me. If I just hit him a bunch and then he dashes out and he's dead. He came into me on here and he's dead. He's got no health. He can't help his Anubis, so we're just going to turn on the Anubis, who's a more valuable target. But the Ganesh ult was off the mark, basically. It barely clipped me as I came in, didn't actually trap me anywhere. Again, I'm not really wanting to dive on the Ganesh. He's the least valuable target on their entire team, so I'm just going to throw my abilities out as poke, clear the wave and leave. But Ganesh absolutely has her back now, and it's only the Circuit in the mid lane able to threaten us at all, so I call for gold. Right, we don't know where Cupid is, but they were chasing him and trying to kill him, so we know Cupid is somewhere over in this jungle. I just checked that corner that isn't warded. We know now that he's not here. We do these oracles, and then we still don't see Circuit. And I might have missed where she went at the time, and now I'm sure she was on the wall. But she doesn't come to contest this. Anubis is dead for ages, and Ganesh had to back, and Cupid has just disappeared as well. So the only person that could have been there was Circuit, and she's too squishy to survive 4 people if she jumps in. She either had to time it really well for a steal, and she would have had to trade her life for the Gold Fury, which is, honestly, with an Only Fury, probably not worth, but definitely something you can consider doing as jungle. Definitely on the Fire Giant. It's something you do a lot. As we come out here, we've got Only Waves pushing up every single wave. We see King Arthur has actually taken tower. I don't know if he soloed Fafnir. I believe he probably did. So there's still a little bit of confusion. Well, not confusion, but there's still a little bit of solo lane classic bullying going on. We see Anubis over on the right side looking to go gank the Cerno, so I'm going straight over there, and we see the Ganesh walking through the oracles as well. Big mistake. The oracles are really visible, you can see who's got them, you can see why they're there, and you shouldn't ever expose yourself on them. You can walk around them pretty well. It does make your pathing a bit strange, but when you're coming for a gank, you don't want to reveal yourself, that's so much worse. Because Ganesh and Anubis both revealed themselves on these wards, my Thoth was able to come over as well, and it's a fantastic counter rotation. Just like the gank has not gone according to plan, Thoth is kiting the Cupid really well. I've come in to try and help kill. I don't really need the blink here, but I was greedy and I wanted the kill. If I was playing smart, I wouldn't have had to do that. I asked the team what we're doing here. We've just killed all but 2 of them. We see that King Arthur and Sir Ket are both over left, so do we want to go and try and help them and get fire? But the call was made to get both of these towers, which I agree with. We've gotten so much pressure that there's no need to throw it away. By trying to rotate all the way over to the left side of the map and get kills, we can get both of these. Sir Ket is probably backed to come defend this Phoenix, so I say we're just going to go strip their farm. Because we see still that King Arthur is revealed on the left side as Thoth goes to defend that, and he just backed. So Sir Ket definitely backed a while ago. She's maybe stripping my back farm, but I made sure to do my buffs before I got there. So I'm not losing speed, and I'm not losing my back harpies either. We're all here. We know that King Arthur backed, we know that everybody else was dead. They have to defend right, we just do pyro. There's absolutely no chance of them getting here to contest this before we finish it. We get pyro, we don't go for fire. Fire would be greedy, and again, Anubis is up and in the mid lane. The time we do fire, if they come over to check it, Anubis can ult it, kill all of us, and steal fire. At this point, we're hugely ahead. We are hugely ahead. We're 20-7. The small DC that the Sir Ket hasn't actually affected the game that much, but we have been outplaying them at every turn. The wards have been really good. We have wards out mid, we've had wards out right. We even had a few wards in the left lane. I've had to do the main sentry warding on the objectives, but honestly, I don't mind. Our build has gone to a very classic Erlang build, which is attack speed boots into Crusher. I very much like Crusher on Erlang. His abilities now hit hard, the extra attack speed is always lovely, and the Crusher damage procs on your 1. I do this because I didn't see the Ganesh and the Anubis, but they did kill the Cupid before that happened. So all I do here is I wait out that ult, and then I'm going to pop up the Anubis, who's just dead every single time. They killed the Cupid, who was their main damage. They had time to heal up through Geb Shield and Hearts. And we see that now the Sir Ket is disconnected again, and that's definitely going to be the nail in the coffin for this game. With no Sir Ket up, there are only 2... well, if Sir Ket was up, there would be 2 people to try and stop us going to get fire here, which is the call I make, and everybody follows along. But with only King Arthur left and Fafnir keeping him very busy, I'm not worried at all about this fire being stolen. I tell the 3 guys behind me you guys do fire, I'm going to come over and take this King Arthur off the map. I mess up the blink route because I get stuck on minions, but I do still hit him with the route. I'm able to follow up with a knock-up for the kill. Fafnir's going to push down that tower. There's no need to zone because we know that Ganesh and Cupid have both just spawned and that they both used their ults in that last engagement, so there's no chance of them stealing it. I mess up the fire pulling and get hit by the knock-up, but it turns out absolutely fine. We see Cupid has just gone for his buff, hasn't come straight to us. We had the deep wards out, even if he did. The only way he was actually going to be able to get to us was all the way around through blue buff, and Fafnir was there. Now that we've got fire, I want to back up. I want everyone to spend the gold that they've gotten for this fire giant. And fortunately, that's not what we're doing. The Kurnos obeys this and goes back, spends his gold, and goes to push back up right and scare off this Cupid. Meanwhile, the rest of our team, who are kind of low after fire, decide to take another engagement over here. It does work out because we do have Fire Giant and we are outplaying them, but it is a risky move. While they're doing that, I'm talking to CERN. I'm saying they've got that under control. There's no way I ever make it over there in time, right? My blink is down as well, so there's no way I ever come to help this fight. So I make the call for CERN and I to just make this mid-push, get the T2 down, and then I see that King Arthur is back. I say, let's go help them, change my mind, tell the CERN will push down this Phoenix. I will turn up and help kill this King Arthur and secure ourselves a T2. So here comes the King Arthur, that's his ult, so he's got absolutely no way to get out of this, and he's dead. That's it. He ults the basic ult, the basic King Arthur ult, which is just the forward stun. When he builds up energy, it's a CC immune dash that then launches you into the air, but he doesn't do any of that. He uses his basic one for a stun, so he had no way of getting out of that knock-up without using his dash. immediately. Ganesh comes and tries to save this Phoenix on his own, which I think is a mistake. I would keep aggressing here. I think we could have killed them all and won the game right there, but Geb makes a call to go for Phoenixes, and I think, okay, that's absolutely fine, play it safe. And besides, the Circuit is still DC'd, so we're playing it 5v4, and that feels a bit mean. The Fafnir pressures the Ganesh offers, but again, what's the Ganesh really going to do when he uses ult to try and secure that, try and save that Phoenix earlier on his own, and they give up. They give up because Cupid was split pushing all the way down the right lane during that time, and Thoth back to go deal with it. Good play from the Thoth there. He's not needed for this objective push down, and overall we clean up the game. That was game even if they didn't surrender right there. Cupid just died. I'm level 19, Ganesh is level 12, so there's absolutely no way he lives at all. I just burned straight through him. Well, we won that game off of the early ganks and the lack of pressure from the Circuit. We could have lost it had it gone any further. You know, had it gone another 20 minutes and gotten King Arthur fully online. I'm going to pause it here and go over the stats, as it were. I didn't take top player damage, which is absolutely fine. That means the Sonos was involved in fights and free casting effectively. He was being peeled for really well by the Geb. They played very well together. And then the mid laner, our Thoth, got off a lot of damage. He played very aggressively, and he paid for it a few times, as you can see with his 3, but overall it paid off for him. In terms of ward place, I would like to see more wards out of the solo laner, but hey, it all worked, and there were 2 attempted ganks on him the entire game, so I suppose a lack of wards didn't end up punishing him all that much. The important thing is that he won lane, and he knew how to play against the King Arthur, and he knew how to play his character to the best of his ability. The wards come after that. That's the fundamentals. If you don't have that down, there's not much point in warding, because if you ward them and you see them coming and then they still kill you, what was the point? On their side, obviously, not having the Circuit DC would have been advantageous, but they had a late game team in terms of Circuit and Cupid. That's not entirely true. Allow me to rephrase that. Circuit is a late game jungle, so I applied a lot of early game pressure that Erlang can put out, and won it that way, because Circuit's main damage comes from that she has a full anti-heal, 100% anti-heal on her ult, and that her 1 can crit, so she needs to get crit online in order to do so, whereas I am effective from the get-go. I have good base damage on my abilities, they're not very hard to hit, and it's 2 forms of CC. So I was able to secure that I was able to convert that rather into some early ganks and kills. And in terms of actual late game, they had an Arthur late game, we had a Thoth, we had a Geb, we had a Fafnir. I think that we still had a fighting chance, but they needed to get King Arthur more online. They needed Cupid to not die so often. The picking up of Aegis as a first active on Cupid really, really hurt them. Really, really hurt them. If he'd gotten beads, he would have been able to get out of my CC. And while he maybe still wouldn't have lived, it's very possible that we wouldn't have been able to double kill the lane repeatedly as a result. So yeah, that was a ranked Erlang game. I normally will upload these with actual background sound of Smite. However, for now, you get my lovely, lovely voice instead. See you all later.